Today's video we're going to be doing is installing Blum drawer slides, and I'm going to show you a comparison to what the Blum drawer slides look to compared to the Richelieu drawer slides. So as you see, Richelieu, that is how it is spelled. If you can see that, it's kind of small writing. It's kind of a strange way to spell it. These Richelieu drawer slides you can find in Home Depot. You can also buy them online, at least right now you can. I have seen them in there. They usually come in a pack that comes with the clips, the drawer clips that they fasten to. These are undermount drawer slides, full extension, soft close. So previous video, what we did was we made these dovetail drawers. As you can see, the dovetails there. That's what we made in the last video. And this video will be installing these drawers into this cabinet using these slides. Now this process is the same for the Blum slides as it is for the Richelieu slides. As you see, a side-by-side comparison, they are very similar. There's a couple things slightly different. This one, the Blum has an adjustment here where this raises and lowers the back tab. This doesn't have that adjustment. The Blums are definitely smoother than the Richelieus. The Blums are what I prefer. They just feel like a little bit of a, I don't want to say grinding, but it's still pretty smooth, but when comparing it to the Blums, it's just not quite as nice. They're both great though. Also, the locking devices on the Blums are, to me, a lot nicer than these kind of thin plastic ones. They both do have adjustments here. You can slide this, which pushes it up, so you can shift maybe one top of the drawer up a little bit, one corner up. And the Blums also have those adjustments too. The back mounting brackets are pretty much the same. The Blums have Blum written on it. The Richelieus kind of don't have anything, just kind of a generic bracket there. So let's get started. First thing we're going to do is we're going to take the drawers that we just made, and I'm going to groove 1.25 inches out of this back corner right here. The reason for that being is obviously this slide fits in that groove, but there's no groove on the bottom for it to sit on. I don't know if you can see that very well from that perspective. So what I have to do is groove this back corner out. That's what we're going to do. So that is the first step. When setting this machine up to groove these back corners, I like to use a piece of scrap from the drawer material. It has my groove in it already, and it has the thickness, obviously, of the piece. So obviously make sure the saw is off, unplug it if you'd like. So I kind of use this as my guide. That gives me the distance away from the blade right there. I can move it through, but it's tight enough that it's not gonna wiggle a ton. Gotta move the blade up. All right, up a little bit more. What it needs to do is it needs to groove this entire piece out in the back right up to the panel. So I want to take that whole chunk out. So my first cut is going to take right there. See with that groove, that's what we just cut out. It's pretty smooth there. It's pretty much what we need. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to measure, I need 1.25 inches at least to fit that drawer slide. So I usually go is about 1/16 over. So let's do like 1 5/16 inches. Right around there. Alright, now you can see that I have that grooved out there. What we're going to do is we're going to take the slide. I'll show you. If you can see it from that angle, fits right in there. Now you see that there's this little tab on the back of the drawer slide. kind of sticks out. I don't know if you can see that, but need to drill a hole right above that groove I just grooved for that tab to go into. What that's going to do is that's going to lock the drawer securely in place, and also using this adjustment here that moves that tab up and down, it's going to allow you to adjust it properly up and down. So let's do that. I'm going to end up drilling a hole right in here. There is a guide that comes with the Blum kit, or I mean, you could just hold the drawer slide up, kind of slam it into the drawer a little bit, put a little mark, and that'll show you where to drill. Be careful not to drill through the thickness of the drawer. You obviously don't want to drill to the inside of the drawer. That would stink. So let's get those drilled. All right, this is the jig right here that Blum sells. As you can see, Blum Tandem. This is the jig that comes with it, or I believe you have to buy it separately. So what you're gonna do, use this jig. You push it all the way to the outside. Make sure it's sitting flat. You want to make sure that you're not tilting. That's gonna throw off where the hole is. So make sure you're pushing down here. It's pushed all the way to the outside. I like to put a couple clamps on the bench back there to kind of hold my drawer so I can push on it and it's not going to go anywhere. So make sure it's flat. I put tape on the drill bit so that I can't drill too far. And do the other side. And that's drilling them out. Now this is one of the last steps before mounting the drawers. You have your brackets here that go in the front corner of each drawer. And this is how you remove it. This is also what clips in the slide in. And then here is where the adjustment is for the future if you wanted to adjust it. If you had to adjust it, this slides back and forth and pushes the drawer slide up and down. So make sure you put those on right. Go to where you push the button towards the outside of the drawers. Like that. Now I like to pre-drill these just because the material could be fragile. It's right in between the groove and the edge of the drawer. So to avoid anything from happening. Never hurts. And then I use these 5/8 screws. It's also easier if you use a longer bit. Wouldn't tighten them too much. Have had a couple of these crack on me. Like to go really easy. All right. Now those are both on there. And that's what gives the drawer something to lock into. And this slides on here. See that is locked there as the drawer slides. It's upside down, so it's not actually running on the rollers. It sounds like it's grinding. So push that and then it disconnects. Next step in the installation process, after you have your clips on your drawers, the back of the drawer slides have this groove in it. This is the mounting bracket that I use, and it slides in that groove. And this gives you the ability, whether the back of your cabinet's actually closer there or farther out, depending on the depth of your cabinet. So this is kind of nice because it gives you that range of motion there, depending on how deep your cabinet is. You don't always need that. If the inside of your cabinet's flush with your face frame, you could easily forget those pieces and screw it right into the side. You wouldn't actually need those back brackets. Okay, so I've already mounted the two drawer slides, the two drawer pair for the 8-inch drawers that go on the bottom. Now it's time to mount this top drawer, which is the one that I've been running through the process of in the last 2 videos with how to dovetail, and this video on how to mount drawer slides. So right in there, I like to keep it down about 1/8 of an inch to a heavy 1/8. What this does is I'd rather have it pulling the drawer in a little extra than it not shutting all the way. So I sink that drawer in a little bit, hold it there. Using the same 5/8 screws that I used when mounting the brackets onto the actual drawers, the little drawer clips. So same thing, keep the bracket down about 1/8 of an inch. Hold on to it, put it in. Alright, so now drawer slides are on. It is time to slide the drawer in and mark it. So slide it in. Alright, clipped right in. Now it's time to use this funky pencil I have here, 2 taped together. It's for longer reaches and little areas on each side of the drawer where you might not be able to get into with a normal size pencil or even your fingers. So what I like to do is I like to line it up, because obviously the drawer can shift like this. Alright, so I push weight down right in this area, just on the inside, kind of like pretending like there's weight in it. That's going to be where the drawer is going to sit. And then I move the bottom until this looks parallel to the face frame. So when my drawer front goes on, it's going to sit flat. So right there looks really parallel. And then I'm going to mark those bottom brackets where they are. Right in there. I'm going to take the drawer right out. I like to use just regular squeeze clamps. Just helps me hold the drawer slides out of the way so that I can fasten these brackets in. I use just little pan head 3/4 inch screws. So let's fasten these in. I do about 4. I'm gonna do 1 on each and then test the drawer to make sure. Make sure nothing moved, everything's still good. Yeah, all looks parallel, flat and even, so let's go with that. Here's another angle of fastening these. Probably might be able to see it a little bit better. Yeah, so heavy 1/8. Pinch the drawer slide there. Doesn't really matter which screw hole you go into. Typically I go on the bottom. Magnetic tip though can sometimes be a pain in the butt. Let's put in some of these drawers. Best way I like to do it is I like to pull the drawer slides out. Obviously, you know the grooves, holes that we drilled. Let the drawer slides sit in those grooves, and then I pull the drawer slide. What I'm pulling is I'm pulling this little tab on the bottom of these, and I'm pulling them towards the face of the cabinet, kind of holding the face of this drawer and letting it click lock in. So there's the bottom drawer. Full extension, they come all the way out. See the back of the drawer. Same thing for this one. now look really good and flat. That concludes this video on how to install Blum and Richelieu drawer slides. Like I said earlier, look for my next video on how to install, or just the video of me installing this coffee bar. And please like and subscribe.